says they're 93 minutes. Should do it.
All right, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming to this April 21st, 2026 meeting of our Board of Trustees. If you all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, first item of business is approval of minutes from April 7th, 2026. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes,
Yes.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next item is approval of warrant.
Okay, I move that we approve warrant number 042126 in the amount of $228,574.68.
The big item, I think, was the
The
LoSAP.
LoSAP is in there.
LoSAP is the big item on this, okay.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, next is department reports. We moved you.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. So far for the month of April, there's been 32 summonses issued and 313 IRs completed, 48 those in Grandview, the remaining 265 here in Piermont. And officers are going to be out this week. It's Operation Safe Stop this week, so each day something different: speeding, cell phones, bus stops, aggressive driving. So each day they change it, and that's all funded through the traffic safety grant.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief, could I ask you a question?
Sure.
A resident and I stopped by the other day. She's been working on the issues with 9W with potholes and traffic and other safety concerns. And she gave one of the department members a flyer for a get-together they're doing on Thursday.
Yep.
Do you think anyone will be able to attend?
Yeah, we'll have an officer present for it,
Terrific.
of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Next, we have Tommy.
Pardon me? Incident response. Yes, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'll just go over some monthly totals for March. We did 61.85 tons of garbage collected. Bulk collection, we started 2.79 tons. Brush was 2.74 tons. And recycling for the month of March was 16.91 tons. Update on the sidewalk curb replacement project at Half Moon Park at Piermont Avenue. I met with the building inspector and village engineer today to put together a punch list for the contractor to come back. He's got some repairs to do before we sign off on the project's completion. We also started the decking and railing replacement project in Kane Park. We're about halfway through that. Hopefully we'll have that wrapped up by the end of next week. And like I said, our bulk collection has started for the year. It runs every other Tuesday from now until October, and our next collection date is May 5th. That's it.
So you mentioned up at Half Moon Park, I just drove by, and it looks like there's some extensive asphalt patching adjacent to the sidewalk itself. Is
Okay,
that
so yeah, so the parking lot's a different part of the project that it's going to be done. As soon as the sidewalk's complete, we're going to go out for to get the paving done.
Okay.
So, and hopefully that'll be completed before Memorial Day.
Before Memorial. And also, thank you for getting the water fountain fixed in Kane Park.
The water
If everybody's
fountain is
not
fixed,
aware,
yes.
There is a water fountain in Kane Park. It's been out of commission for like over a decade. It's back up and running, so everybody can fill up their water bottles. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Next, we have Charlie.
Just a quick note to the residents and to the board and the mayor. I spent a lot of time in the last couple of years trying to advocate that the Consumer Protection Board stays intact and that the laws governing it and that the experience and all that stay intact in the county. That was voted down by the legislature. Basically, they stripped it clean where anybody can walk in with no experience and get a contractor license now. They state in their stuff, in their Facebook pages, the people that are for it, that they did all these things. All the things that they state that they did are already in the law. The only thing they did was they stripped all the power from the boards that are there, who are experienced professionals in the field that have been on the boards for years, and they put it in the hands of the legislature, who has no experience in those fields, and they stripped the experience. If you walk in with a bond and in your name, you can get a license now. So I just want everyone to be aware of that. I think we should let the residents really know, so if they do hire somebody, they really should scrutinize who they're hiring and make sure that the person actually has experience and knows what they're doing.
Yes, and thank you for attending that meeting and reporting back to us. This was a very important decision, but it went completely the wrong way as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that leads me to a question then, Charlie, and the rest of the board. What do you think about going on notice with regard to Piermont's position on before it gets to the county executive's desk? I'm sure it's going to be signed, but it may be something we want to be on record as a municipality that would...
I think that would be great. There's a lot of backlash to it. I can tell you one of the guys that spoke for the other side spoke blatantly, saying how he helped his friends lie on their applications because they realized they had no experience. So if you lie on your application, you'll get it. And he actually had somebody die on one of his work sites, I found out from the county. And so this is what we're looking forward to. So, and they blatantly admitted it at the legislature, and the legislature cheered those people on, so I was dumbfounded.
So what you're suggesting, Jeff, is that we should send a letter to Ed Day?
Take a position.
Asking him
Yep.
to veto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have any...
I mean, they have enough to override a veto, it looks
Yes.
15-1, but it wouldn't hurt.
The other part too, strengthen our stuff where they have to be licensed and insured, because one of the things that they want to do is that if the GC has a license and he hires a roofer, the roofer that can sub it out to another roofer who has no license and no insurance. So we could just put into our laws maybe that it's strict enough where it says everybody that works has to be licensed and insured. You're not covered or by somebody that's not, because what's going to happen is it's going to be the finger pointing game when somebody gets hurt on a job site, and who's going to end up paying is going to be the homeowner when somebody gets hurt. Or
If I could just add, I was at the meeting that Charlie was at a month ago, and Judge Ugel spoke really eloquently about his concerns about that change and the importance of the Consumer Protection Board. And he brought claimants that have outstanding claims against contractors that were unscrupulous, that never did the work or did it in a shoddy manner. And he implored them not to pass that law as well. And I also emailed the legislature because I had to work last Tuesday and I couldn't be at that meeting. But I've encouraged all of my friends and neighbors and people who've reached out to me thinking this is a bad idea to reach out to the
Right.
legislature, even though they passed it. And one of my neighbors texted me yesterday a response that he got from our current legislator who said, you know, this is not the end of it. We're still going to put controls in place. And so it's still, don't think that saying stuff to them now doesn't matter. I encourage everybody to.
the controls they're talking about putting in place are already there.
Yeah.
They're making pretend that they're adding stuff to it. They're not. It's just a big game. I mean, I wrote out a long speech when I went there, listing all the reasons why it shouldn't go through. Some of the people that were for it, that were part of the legislature, they were talking amongst themselves the whole time and disregarded everybody that went up to the podium. It was an absolute disgrace. And I went like this to them at one point, like, stop talking. And they laughed at me. They looked at me and laughed at me. And I was just like, okay, this is where the county's going. It's not a good thing.
Well, in the meantime, as we discussed the other day, it would be great when people come in for permits to just make sure that you're educating them that in this new
Yes.
arrangement, the subs could not be insured and that the onus is on them to make sure everybody on their property.
Well, I think in our law, because we can always go more stringent, we can't go weaker, okay? And even in the law that they passed, it says that. So I think in our village code, we should put down that all subs have to be licensed and insured. And I think it says that now, but I think we should make sure that that verbiage is very clear so people don't get caught having an unlicensed guy doing work and then he gets hurt or damages something and there's no insurance, but the homeowner insurance to pay for it, which is unfair.
No, I agree.
Yes. Dennis, is that something you could review in our code to confirm if we do already require it? I mean, part of the problem is that we're talking about giving out licenses to people that may not actually be qualified. So simply telling them they must be licensed doesn't
But
necessarily.
licensed and insured. We want to, at least then, they have the backing of what's going to be left of consumer protection after it's gutted. And we can at least they have insurance that at least if something does go south, it comes out of their insurance rather than the homeowner policy. So that's what I'm trying to protect. Even on big jobs, sometimes I'll tell the homeowners, it's not a bad idea to have them list you as the insured also. Because the village automatically does it, but on big jobs, sometimes I warn people, hey, look, you might want to ask this guy to initially insure you also. So if his insurance lapses anytime during the project, you get notified. That's what it does.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a great suggestion. I think
All right.
Barbara has a question.
Can we, ask that they have a certain amount of insurance?
It's already in the code. It's already in the law.
Amount?
I think the amount is in there. I think the minimum is, I think it might be, I think it's $1 million for an A6, which is up to 300,000. I think it's $3 million, I think, for a B6. I have to look now. I still carry a license, so I have to look at what mine say on them. You know, I keep my license intact because of this job. If I stop at a friend's house on a weekend, I don't want to be a hypocrite and all week long tell everybody they need a license insurance, and then I don't have one. So I've had a license the whole time I've worked here and pay the insurance on it. So, you know.
But yes, to your question, Barbara, I believe
Yeah.
it is within our ability to set what those levels are in excess of what the state minimums are if we would like to do so.
It's not a state minimum, it's a county.
County, sorry.
Right. Right.
And in response to Jeff's comment, I'm fully on board with us sending Ed Day a letter and telling him how we feel about this change.
Okay.
We need a motion for that?
I think we should have a motion for that, but I'd also like to ask Charlie and Dennis's help in putting together that letter.
Okay.
Great.
Would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I move that we send a very forceful letter to the county executive indicating Piermont's collective opinion as to the legislation that was just passed by the Board of Legislators, stripping the contractors board and divesting them of authority and placing it in the legislature's hands.
Right.
Not a good idea. Places us all in jeopardy.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And thank you, Charlie.
Charlie, we have some questions. I don't know if we should save it for new business or if Charlie's going to
Go ahead.
leave. It has to do with the letter. I guess it was
Okay.
a notice of violation that was sent. to
Right,
the-
it gave
to
them
the
30
various
days, that's our
homeowners.
standard practice.
Got it.
That's
No
coming-
response yet.
No, they talked to me, they've reached out to me. We're going to have a meeting, themselves and myself and Nate are all going to meet together and just talk about what they're legally allowed to do, what we really need to do, where exactly we want the fence, what sections of the fence maybe should come down. So we're going to go over all that. And I believe that's a Tuesday, 10 o'clock?
Yes, it is. The
Yeah.
28th.
So,
Great. Thank
Yeah.
you, Charlie.
okay.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right, next item of business is, oh, excellent, yes, please. Actually, I have a question for you before you get started. We got an email today from Tom Hughes. Okay, good. I wasn't sure, he was asking if I could forward it to you. I saw an email address I thought you checked, but I wasn't 100% sure if you got it. Do you have? Oh, you did?
But it didn't seem to go to everybody, it went to him.
And me,
And you.
because I sent it to you.
Yeah, that was a good idea to plant that little spot. I had
Okay,
planted
so you
years
support
ago,
it.
And it just never got watered, it just died.
Excellent.
Kelly Rubio planted it once too, so that there's a neighbor wanting to be involved. It's a good thing.
No issue about attracting bumblebees or anything to a park with children in it?
Well, see.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
I'm gonna meet with him and see what he has in mind. He sent it, but I'll see, you know.
Because he called it a pollination garden.
Let's butterflies, too.
Butterflies, yeah.
Butterfly. I see, I only looked at the worst. That's my career, thinking of the worst.
So I'm here because the north parking lot medians have run amok. And so I met with my co-chair, Mish Brisson, and Tommy the other weekend. And I thought just make them be grass, make them be rocks. So we thought we'd put them back the way they originally were. So I have pictures of how they originally were. In 2007, when the parking lot was built, it was graded out just to be dirt. And then Greg Mercurio and I selected sea oats to go down the middle as a pollinating thing, and then around it was something called soft rush. So they would come in plugs from the North Creek Nursery. There's Greg with a tray of those things. And we had volunteers plant them. It was fun. We did it in about an hour and a half or 2 hours because the soil was so soft, and laid them out. Then it looked like this when they filled in a little bit.
And didn't
then
those
it-
accidentally get mowed at one point?
Well, because it ran amok with all the weeds. But yeah, they can, because they come back in the spring. Then even in 2017, it was looking terrific. This is all the sea oats and the nut sedges around the outside. So I had not continued my subscription to the North Creek Nursery, but I just did. And so I have the quantity ready, but I don't have the price because they just reopened my account. But my recollection was it was about $1,200 for all of the plugs and pieces and parts. And I can confirm that. So I don't know what budget's available, but I don't know. I think that's a good idea to plant it again. It lasted 15 years before the weeds started to get in. And we went out a couple times to get the poison ivy and the different things that would get inside, but eventually it just got out of control. But Tommy, when we met, said that he could, with this machinery, like dig out the top hole, 18 inches of roots and everything, dump that in his composting mix and bring in fresh soil so that all those weeds would be gone and it'd be clean for our centennial summer.
Excellent. So yeah, I don't know where we're at on the parks budget for this year, but I expect we probably already expended it. So if you can get a price on that,
Okay.
then we can hunt around and try to find where we might have something in the budget we could put towards it. But I think it's a great idea. I do also have a follow-up question for you. So what you get for coming to give a report. So we talked a month or two ago about the memorial benches and the families that had the placards.
Yes.
Have you been able to contact any of the families from the removed benches about affixing to a new or doing a new bench altogether or any of those things?
Well, there was no responsibility for the sponsors to maintain them. They were given to the village, and so we're going to take the plaques off, and when we replace the benches at the village's own expense or some other sponsor, we'll put their recognition on it.
But if someone else does the sponsorship for a new bench, they would have a new plaque to affix, and we wouldn't necessarily be able to put the old plaque on it.
No, right now we have 2 new benches from Nat Muffson that are on the bridge, right?
Yeah, I
And
think
so-
they got put out already.
so we could
I
put
was
them
thinking
on
maybe
that.
you could put the plaques on those from
Yeah.
the families, so you have not been in contact with them?
No, I have them in my computer, and I know who the people are, but since they weren't responsible for maintaining them, I didn't follow up on that.
Sure, I mean, I would just like to give them an opportunity if they'd like to say, do you want to keep the plaque yourself? Or do
Oh, I
you
see.
want to pay something to put it on a different bench? Or do you not care at all? Or just to be in communication with them
Oh,
about
okay.
how this works out, so they don't show up and say, what happened to the bench we paid for?
Okay, so I can get
If
those
you want to forward me their
to
contact
Jennifer.
information, I'm happy to do the legwork on it.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, next item is old business. Jennifer, do you have any old business?
No, no old business.
Anyone have any old business?
No.
Okay.
I guess I do.
Okay.
Is there any update on the conversation we had last meeting about the FOIL request for,
No, I need to follow up with Patricia about which meetings actually exist and what their price will be.
okay,
I've been preoccupied with our budget for the last few weeks.
understood. I'm not sure everybody heard that, though, Nate. Yeah.
Okay, so next item, new business. Jennifer, do you have any new business?
So what I did have was the email from Thomas Hughes about doing the planting. So that was what I was going to bring up as new business, but it's already been discussed. So I have nothing else.
Okay, I have a couple of items. Does anyone else have new business?
I do not.
Okay, so first thing off is that everyone should have received a copy of a draft second agreement with Grandview on Hudson to provide police services. And I'm going to ask the board for a resolution tonight to authorize me to sign that agreement with the new mayor of Grandview on Hudson. This is going to be a 3-year term contract. The previous contract was a 5-year term. But in this contract, what we looked at was we looked at the rate that Orangetown charges for police services for other places like Nyack that use the same taxation structure as Grandview and hire out their police services. And we found that there was a almost 16% discrepancy between what we were billing in the last year of our expiring contract and what Orangetown would charge if we were not providing the services. So my goal was to get to 99% of what Orangetown would charge and keep it at that level in perpetuity. That way, we're never pricing ourselves out of the market and charging them more money than they could get from Orangetown. And also, we're not leaving much money on the table. The previous contract had only examined the police budget portion of our budget and did not include any of the general fund expenses that are related to operating a police force, like our insurance, which is going up in excess of 11% next fiscal year, our hospitalization that's going up 8.5% this year, our capital expense, and our debt servicing, none of which was dealt with at all in the expiring contract. Dennis and Chief Hurley and I met with the mayor and 2 of the trustees last Friday and discussed what terms would be amenable to all parties. And we were able to come to an agreement in principle on a 3-year contract that begins the first year at 90% of what the Orangetown rate would be. In the second year, jumps up to 95% of what the Orangetown rate would be, and in the third year, 99%. So we are contractually on a path to getting to that 99%. It's going to take a couple of years, but that also means that in next budget year and the subsequent year, we will have a bit of a built-in increase from that service contract. The first year's increase represents about a 5.5% increase. Second year is a 5%, and third year is a 4%. So I was very happy to be able to come to agreement with the new mayor of Grandview. I'm grateful that with such a limited time window, she was able to review all of the information and meet with us and have an open discussion about what our needs are. We also added into this contract 2 stipulations that hadn't existed previously, one of which is about minimum service level that will be provided during the term of the contract, and another is about adding a representative from Grandview on Hudson to our Transportation and Parking Commission in order that they have a voice in those conversations that do get disseminated back to the police department and inform policy. So does anybody have any comments on the contract? And if somebody want to make a motion?
No, I just want to thank Dennis, the chief, and our mayor. I know that the negotiations were lengthy and kind of dicey, and of course, they wanted the best price from their side standpoint.
Nate led the negotiations.
Nate did.
It was all Nate.
Did a great job. So we're getting more, the first year of this new 3-year contract than we had for the last 5 year, the 5th year of the last contract, by 5%?
Yes, 5.5%.
Great job. Thank you.
That's my job. So does anybody want to make a motion to authorize me to enter into this services?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I hear a
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the next thing, also kind of exciting. For the last couple of months, Jeff has been setting up the video camera and videotaping our meetings, and I've been uploading them to YouTube, but I've been using my personal YouTube Google account as a place to sit them because that's all I had access to, and I didn't really want to publish those links because it's a little unprofessional. My page name is Nate the Great. So I've set up a new YouTube channel that is the Village of Piermont NY. On YouTube, you can find it by searching for @Village of Piermont NY. And the videos that we have so far year to date are uploaded there currently, and additional ones will be added over time. So I'll put a post on our social media about accessing that, and it also, our new website has a feature whereby a video link can be associated with a set of minutes. So as we get into the new website, one of the things that we're going to do, and it probably won't be quite as timely as the minutes themselves getting uploaded, because it does take some time to process and render the videos, but we will be associating one of those videos with each of our sets of written meeting minutes. So we're hoping to, we don't have a go live date on the website yet, but we're a couple months out.
No, it's going to be like the second week of May.
Second week of May, okay, that's
But
great.
what's going to go live right now is what we had on the website through February.
Right.
So then I have to play catch-up with all the new stuff that we've added since then.
Yes.
But one thing too about the Agenda Center, which is where the,
You love saying that.
I have to say it very carefully because
Yes.
I'm going to say sweater weather. So with the Agenda Center, it'll be the agenda, the minutes, and then the video, all in like one line. For each meeting, for every board, it'll all be on one page. So it'll be easy to see what what you want to see. So that's the good thing.
Looking forward to it, and yes, I understand that there is a certain amount of duplication of effort in having two websites for a period of time, and thank you for chasing that part down, and I'm happy to help in any way that I can.
Yes, we're going to need help.
Yeah, I guess. And then the last thing is that, not sure if everyone remembers, but tomorrow is Earth Day, and the Village of Piermont passed a resolution to recognize Earth Day as Joan Gussow Day. And so I would like that we adjourn this meeting with a moment of silence in remembrance of Joan Gussow. And do you want to bring up the proclamation question?
No.
Okay. We'll have that.
Oh, you mean the Tappan Zee?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. A resident had suggested to me that the Village of Piermont, the town of Orangetown, did a proclamation for the Tappan Zee girls basketball team winning the state championship. And someone in the village asked if the village was going to do the same. So I reached out to Nate to ask him if we could do the same. So we're going to get in touch with the coach and see what we can do to align schedules or to reach out to them to see how we might do that.
So do you want to make a motion that we
Yes.
do issue a proclamation?
Yes.
Does somebody want a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that'll be new business. Next item is public comment. Do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
Please, yeah.
Did you put your name on the, yeah, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Hi, thank you very much. My name is John Berkner. I'm from Westwood, New Jersey. Mayor Emeritus of Westwood for 12 years, so I have a very sincere appreciation for what it is that you do and a very clear understanding of how difficult it often can be. The other thing that I have, excuse me, a very clear appreciation for is our valued and dedicated public servants, and that's why I'm here. It's a little emotional. March 14th, I suffered a near-fatal heart attack on the pier. Your fire and EMS personnel saved my life. I'm just here to express my gratitude and present a modest donation that I wish that you would accept on their behalf.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sincerely, thank you. I'm glad you're doing well. Wow.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic to hear. That's, I think I remember the ambulance call. I was not on it myself. We do have two other people signed up for public comment, however. We have number one, Dennis Hardy.
Tough act to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, but very, very grateful for the outcome. So first, I'd like to say thank you to our building inspector and trustee Kate McCabe for attending the county legislature, and also thank the village board for passing the memorializing resolution in opposition to what the county did, which is shameful. So that being said, thank you. So I'm here. Every now and then, my condo board, Harbor Cove, meets with Paradise Harbor, and our board met last week, and I was dismayed to find out that Paradise Harbor, without going into all the detail, there is a 20-ton chiller inside the garage. It's about the size of a tractor trailer. When I was mayor, the developer wanted to put that outside the building. We commissioned a sound study, and the sound study was very clear that putting it outside the building would materially affect not only the residents in Piermont Landing, but the people on Ash Street, Hudson Terrace, Tate Avenue. So the village board was lead agency at the time. We said, no, it must go in the garage. It's been in there for 26 years. It now needs to be replaced, and it's my understanding that Paradise Harbor wants to put it outside on Paper Street. I will fight this with every fiber in my being. It was very clear from the sound study that was done by the engineering firm that this device could not be put outside. Paradise Harbor just needs to find a way to put it in the garage where it is. So I just want to put the board and the building inspector on notice that you may get an application for this. I'm already alerting my neighbors. Again, this will materially affect residents in Piermont, putting this huge chiller. And if you want to look at it, come to the garage, I'll show it to you. So, yeah. It would be about 100 feet from our bedroom if they put it outside on Paper Street. It was not meant for Paper Street. There was extensive public hearings and meetings regarding the placement of this chiller. And ultimately, the site plan approval was that it had to be put in the garage, and that's where I want it to remain.
Do you by any chance have documentation of that sound study? I know it's going back.
It was a long time ago, and I don't have, I'm sure it is somewhere here, you know.
Well, having gone to the data center hearing at Town Hall, they went into a lot of detail with the latest developments in decibels with regard to chillers.
Yeah.
I know they bring the decibel level down, but you're still going to have this 100 feet from people's windows.
Yeah.
And again, as you mentioned, the site plan doesn't have it as being outside.
Well, and
Right.
it also has a wall right behind it, so the sound is going to echo this way.
Right.
So
Yes.
you hear it
Right,
here on
regardless.
Fairmont Avenue when it's running.
Right. So I just want to bring this to your attention, and I'll be following the developments closely. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay, next we have Margaret Grace.
Hi there.
Hey.
I know, much easier question. I was at the Piermont Civic Association meeting last night, and we're going to be making signs to advertise our concert series. And very unclear about exactly where, still unclear, and maybe you could help, where signs can go. Things, the PCA would also like to ask the village if we could put a few signs on village property. I mean, right now, we put that banner but that's Phil's property, and he lets us put the banner going into his property. But we'll have a half a dozen or so signs with the dates of our concerts that we want to place in the village. So if I come back to you with specific spots we'd ask to use on village property, because I think we need permission on village property, much like we would for private property. And then what's the ongoing thing about signage where you can put it? My understanding is it has to be with permission on private property. Am I correct? You know, stake signage.
With regard to public thoroughfares, the only thing that I got out of the town law was it shouldn't block vision and traffic as far as
On
sight
private
lines,
property.
Which
Okay.
I'm sure these will.
Well,
So
we hope not.
traditionally, Joanne she had 5 locations she was always asking for on village property. One of them was Kennedy Park, one of them was in one of the planters on the sidewalk here. I don't remember the other 3 off the top of my head. But yeah, certainly we're happy to make it available to be put up in a public park.
Okay.
In terms of things being placed in the right-of-way of a road, which is village property, there are some different constitutional issues about what can and cannot be allowed. But this isn't political expression, this is just an event. So I think it requires the village's permission, even if it's just in the village right-of-way. But I have a question for you, because I was unable to attend that meeting last night. I got a message from JoJo that you can get a full-page ad for the fire department's
Yes.
175th.
Yeah.
We're happy to cut a check to PCA for it, but I need to coordinate how to get you the actual images. And handily enough, Minuteman Press did the graphic design for it.
Okay.
So since they're the print shop, are you able to interact with them and I can get somebody from the fire department.
No,
to
of
call
course,
and say
I
it's
can
okay.
manage all that.
So it
Yeah.
should be, it was a 2-sided postcard, so we should be able to do front side of the postcard, back side of the postcard.
Sure.
As a 1-page.
Sure.
Excellent. Thank
Okay,
you.
and yeah, it's easy, we can just take it from there. we're all the same, working under the same roof.
That's why I told them to go to Notre Dame.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mark.
Mark.
Okay, back to agenda items, number 7. And we're a little late on this, we're usually early. Public hearing on the 2027 budget. So we need to hear a motion to open a public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So there's an open public hearing. Did we put out a sign-up sheet for that as well? Did anyone
Yes.
sign up? We have Dennis Hardy again.
I haven't had time to review it yet.
Well, so let me just call out some of the larger points for the budget overall. So our total village budget expenses went up a little over 4%. That includes some substantial increases in items including our band servicing, which was, I want to say, 14% increase. Our insurance, which we were looking at an 11% increase, and our hospitalization, which we were looking at an 8.5% increase on. So we did also have an increase in the total assessed value of Piermont. And as a result of that increase in the total assessed value and increases on our revenue, not from property tax, partly as a result of the new contract with Grandview for Police Services, we were able to get the increase in the tax rate down to 1.3%. So we went from 7.51 per thousand to 7.608 per thousand, which does represent an increase in the amount to be raised by taxes of 2.49%. So that doesn't mean your individual taxes are going up 2.49%. Individual homestead tax rate is going up 1.3%. However, because of the increases in the rateables over the course of the year, that 1.3 translates into 2.49. So that may mean that some people have had their property tax assessment increase this year, and they also are going to see an increase in the rate per thousand. It also has something to do with buildings that have been recently rebuilt and are now assessed at a higher value than the previous building was assessed at. So it isn't all just reassessments, but there were some reassessments this year. And this was actually really challenging to get to because we were looking at some very significant increases kind of all across the board. But I'm proud that working with the department heads and the other members of the board, and we were able to get it down to what I consider to be a reasonable rate in the face of about 3% inflation nationwide. Was that enough time to come up with a question? It looks like Barbara has a question.
I'm sorry, I missed the sign sheet.
Yeah, please, I can't hear you.
Commendable job with this budget. I only had 2 questions. One is, you have $300,000 for a brick grant.
Mhm.
Has that been received?
It
Or-
has not been received. It will be received in the upcoming fiscal year. So that is a grant that we've been filing extensions on for the last 3 years to put a new upsized culvert between the Erie Path and Hudson Terrace. And we needed to get a couple of easements out of property owners on Upper Righty Street in order to be able to use the new path, and that had been holding us up. But with Dennis's help, we've made great progress, and we have agreements in principle, just not on paper yet, for those easements. and
So
should be-
so FEMA has agreed to this?
Yes.
I'm only asking because of all the craziness.
Yeah, well, so it's actually, the funding is gonna come from New York State. So there's an odd thing that happens with FEMA brick grants, which
Okay.
is you apply to FEMA, but then they allocate tranches of money to the state that gets distributed by dishes. So we've gotten through the federal part, and it's all totally approved, and now we're working with the state dishes on a contract that we can't finalize until we get the 2 easements.
Okay. I think that sounds great.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited that we're moving forward with it, and it should also reduce the flooding impact on the properties on Hudson Terrace and Upper Righty Street where it washed out during Ida. That was the whole impetus for doing the design in the first place. But you said you had 2 questions.
I do, and the other one is sort of silly, but as I was going through the budget, I was seeing that you had the same amount for gasoline for the police department this year as last year, and I'm thinking you might want to double that.
You know, that, it may need to get adjusted. The difficult thing about when things are so fluid is
Yeah.
if we put in a significant increase and then raise everyone's taxes in order to cover that increase,
No,
and
it
then
should-
we didn't see it, that would be a problem too. So we have a certain amount of guesstimating and hoping that is
Yeah,
involved in
it's
this
not that
process.
much, but thank you.
Barbara.
Thank you. Please, Dennis.
Just a suggestion, and looking at the personal services line for both the mayor and the Board of Trustees, I know you all work very, very hard, and I really think it's time that the village take a hard look at increasing the salaries for both the mayor and the village trustees. So,
That's not something I expect to hear from a taxpayer. No, and not something I would be comfortable doing in my first year as mayor. Give me a couple of years and I'll revisit that, but thank you.
Thanks for the sentiment.
Yes.
Yes.
Sentiment is appreciated.
Okay, no other comments for the public hearing. Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we've closed the public hearing, now we must take action. So does someone want to make a motion to adopt the 2027 Village of Piermont budget as proposed?
I motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I got 2 seconds. Sorry.
Deputy
All in
Mayor.
favor? Aye. Excellent, thank you. Okay, next item is authorize the scheduling of a public hearing to repeal local law number 4 of 2023. So we had drafted a law to repeal the law from 2023 and submitted that under GML referral to the county for comment. They got comment back to us where they recommend remand for local decision, meaning they have no objection to us doing that, and we're free to schedule a public hearing. We do have a couple of other referral letters that went out that we have not yet received back. But I think we are safe to schedule a public hearing in May, if not at the first meeting, certainly at the second meeting. Did we pencil it in for the second?
Yes, we did. We penciled it in for May 19th.
May 19th. Yes, sir? Sure. So local law number 4 of 2023 was the law that created the CBM zoning district. And it has since been invalidated by the Supreme Court, but there is a pending appeal that is dragging on from the developer. So one of the things that we wanted to do was to, instead of just sitting on the sidelines and saying, we'll see how this all plays out, we have a comp plan update committee that's already meeting to make recommendations about what zoning would be most appropriate for downtown. And in order to pave the way for that, we need to get rid of what's already on the books and update our E-Code 360 so that anyone coming in looking to develop a property can actually refer to legally binding laws in making their plans. So we received a memo from the planner who had worked with us on creating the CBM that the current situation where it was legally invalid but still on the books was confusing and could be not a hindrance, but it could discourage someone coming in and developing a property because of confusion about what rules and limits would actually apply. So his recommendation, and this came back in late January, early February, was that we repeal the law. Dennis drafted a copy of a new law that would repeal the old law. We referred it out, and now the referrals are coming back in so we can move forward. But we just wanted to make sure that we did every step of this 100% the right way and be beyond reproach in case anyone has an objection to it and they wanted to take some legal action. This is something I had hoped to do in a matter of days, and we're talking about it's going to be May before we have this vote, but we are moving forward with it, and I'm glad to say that we're at a position where we can do that now without being concerned about having cut any corners or left any I's not dotted.
Well, just for clarification, a new law that hasn't been drafted yet. We're waiting for the comprehensive plan,
No,
committee.
just
The new
to
zoning law.
repeal.
The local law that is going to be considered for adoption is just repealing
Correct. Right.
a previous law that was adopted and a state Supreme Court judge declared to be invalid and void, et cetera. So we're just cleaning, deleting, wiping away that local law that's in our code now that created the CBM zoning district. That's what we're doing.
Yes.
Which
What is-
reverts the zone back to Business Bay.
Correct, correct. So we don't want the public to say, wait, what new law are you adopting? No, we're just,
The new law is simply the repeal of the old law at this point.
exactly.
In the future, we hope to have recommendations from the comp plan update committee as to how our comp plan should be updated to reflect recommendations for zoning in our downtown area, which then the board could act upon the newly adopted recommendations of the comprehensive plan. But everything in order, everything in sequence. And would someone like to make a motion to schedule that public hearing for the 19th of May?
Sure, so moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, next item is to authorize the village clerk to enter into an agreement with Hammer Enterprises to provide residents the ability to pay their Piermont property tax bill online. So do you want to comment on this, Jennifer?
So last year, we rolled out the people being able to view their taxes online, but we missed the boat with getting them to be able to pay their taxes online. So I had reached out to the people that do our bills to remind them that we needed to have this service available this year. So Hammer Enterprises is the company that they use as like a third party. There is no cost to the village for a resident to go online and pay their taxes. The money would be deposited into the village account every time there's a payment made. And I don't know what the fee is yet. Maybe it's $6.95 for the transaction. I don't have that information yet of what the resident would pay to do that online, but it is an option that's available. A lot of people do travel out of the country and they get into a panic when we get close to tax season. But one of the things we do in the clerk's office is if somebody's going away for the month of June and we know what the bill is, they can always leave us a post-dated check dated for June 30th. It would not be deposited until then. So we have that option, but having them have the option to pay it online is just another step towards, having less traffic and confusion in the office, on the phones. And this will be now the third year that the bills are online. So you've got 24, 25, 26, and then this year's bills will be online as well. So we're just, coaching everybody that calls in to view about taxes. Let me walk you through it. Are you in front of a computer? So, so this is just another step in having a little more flexibility on how people could pay.
Automation.
Yes.
Automation and efficiency. So Dennis, if I'm remembering right, you had an opportunity to review this contract. You had a couple of suggestions. They were happy with your 2 suggestions. Is this right?
That is
Yes.
correct.
Yes, they
So-
accepted the changes that Dennis recommended.
So does someone want to make a motion to authorize the village clerk to enter into that agreement with Hammer Enterprises?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
All right, great,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, resolution to adopt the 2026 base proportions is the next item on the agenda, and this is a sort of odd thing. I have to tell you, I am not afraid of asking dumb questions. I asked some dumb questions about what exactly are base proportions, and I didn't get answers that were simple enough for me to explain to a kindergartner, so I'm not going to claim that I can explain it simply. But what I can share is that on an annual basis, we receive from Brian Kenny what our adjusted base proportions should be for the upcoming fiscal year, and that is a part of the calculation of what the tax rate is going to be. So the adjusted base proportions are 2 different numbers for homestead and for non-homestead properties. And the adjusted base proportions for the 26-27 budget year are a homestead rate of 0.7850045 and a non-homestead rate of 0.2149955. And that is incorporated into our budget calculation, so we need to adopt it in order to legitimize the fact that we've used that in the calculation of what the tax rate will be. So, does anybody have any questions? Does somebody want to make a motion to adopt?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Terrific.
Nate, could I just get you to sign that page?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, that box right there, so then you can get that out. Actually, there's 2 of them, 2 pages, if you could pass that as well. Okay, so that motion was by Mark and Kate, right? Thank you.
Yes. Okay, item number 12, thank you. Resolution to approve the Memorial Day Watch Fire Friday, May 29th, 2026 at midnight on the Piermont Pier. So this is something that we do every year. Not everyone may know, but Memorial Day has changed dates over the years, and the vets like to do it on the traditional Memorial Day of May 29th. It's gotten a little bit smaller in scale over the last decade or so. We paved over a portion of the pier that we used to use for it, and so can no longer set up there, but we have a small section on the north side where we are currently planning to do that. And we just need to resolve to allow the veterans group, I believe it's the Vietnam vets that actually take the lead on this one, to have that event. It will be accompanied by a sister fire up on the top of Clawson Mountain that should be visible from the end of the pier if you are in attendance. So would someone like to make a motion to approve that resolution?
A motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And then item 13, review special event application from Highland Gallery, DBA Highland Botanicals to have a promotional event on Saturday, May 16th, 2026. Would you want to come forward?
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
We just want to play some music in the parking lot.
Is it 1 to 5 p.m.?
Yes.
So we have a prohibition on outdoor amplified music. Is this something that would require a permit, Dennis, or could we make an allowance for an event without issuing a permit? Outdoor amplified
Well, we
music.
have our events chapter, which we require permits for all
So
kinds of
permit would be
gatherings.
required.
So I'm not sure why this would be different. Am I missing something?
Yeah, well, that's why I'm bringing
I
it
don't know
up.
if it's not a special permit. It's under our events, parades, and processions, I think is the
Yes.
subsection or chapter perhaps. I can
And
look
there
it
is
up.
an exemption for sponsored events that are of a social gathering or memorial, but that doesn't qualify for a for-profit business. We've been through this once before.
Right, even nonprofits
Still
have to
don't.
still get a permit. I think the only time that I can look it up off the cuff, is the only time we can waive a fee is when the village is a sponsor or co-sponsor
Right.
of the event.
Yep. Okay, so essentially what it boils down to is you need to file for a permit to have the event. There is a permit application fee associated with that. I want to say it's $300. Am I
Yes.
making that up?
Yep.
So $300. So if you come in and speak with Jennifer about the event, I don't think anyone has any objection to it occurring. We just need to get the permit in order for it to be all squared away.
Okay, is that,
So I have the special event application, he provided the insurance, and now he just has to come in with the $300 check for payment, and, but he is here tonight for the formality of getting permission to have that outdoor music.
Thank you for coming. and
Okay. So
Looking
we're all
forward to
good?
the
I
event
just-
going down smoothly.
we're all good, I could just come give you a check, Jennifer, is that how that works?
Yeah.
Thank you very
It's
much.
a great event.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Great evening.
Take
You
care.
too.
So was there an actual motion, though, to approve the event? or-
I'll make that.
Okay,
A second.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
And next we have adjournment, but prior to adjournment, if everyone could please join me in a moment of remembrance for Joan Gassell. Thank you. And everyone plant some kind of a flower tomorrow. It would make her happy. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, everybody. So Nate, just a reminder, I can't go to the 9W workshop on Thursday because I'll be out of town, but be thinking about you all.